Right. For the second time today, I don't know what happened on that last recording. I really need to get away from spaces because it is driving me potty how bad it's getting. But anyway, welcome, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is, wherever you are. Welcome to today's Crypto Blast, where myself and Cam O'Connor from Institutional File will giving you a rapid roundup of the latest pricing flows and market moving news in crypto, but hopefully staying away from the degenerate side of crypto. It's crypto with a tie on, people. So hopefully no mention of Fartcoin, etc., etc. But before Cam gives us the goods, I'll get the legals out of the way. So nothing discussed on this Spaces session constitute trading or investment advice or infers any kind of endorsement by PIQ, Institutional Fi, myself, Ryan Paisley, or indeed Cam O'Connor. Cam, I promise you, Spaces cutting out last time was nothing to do with Leeds beating Man United. I'm an Arsenal fan, so I really hope that Leeds, kick the shit out of them next season. But we'll see.
You know what? I just gave the best crypto blast ever in my life.
Yeah, bullshit, did
Everything
you?
was pronounced
Ah,
properly, the names, everything. Yeah,
no,
man,
I know you're
I'm
lying.
gutted you
When
guys
we talk
missed
about you pronouncing stuff right, I know you're lying.
it.
Not worse than me, and I'm appalling. Right. So apologies for that. Right, Cam. So what has been going on in crypto markets?
All right, we'll jump into it. As this is the first Spaces of the week, bar the rugged one a second ago, we will cover a little bit from Friday end of day through the weekend and so on
Perfect.
from yesterday. So Monday's open to Sunday's close. That's Monday last week to Sunday's close of play saw BTC print a modest 0.5% in gains last week. So
This is
with
game for
BTC
ants.
gains, I know, who is this? Need a
Game
a
for ants.
magnifying glass for
Go
this. BTC reached a high of $97,900. Bitcoin is now trading at $93,900, and an area of interest would be just below at $92,805. This was the low of last week. Looking ahead, there are some interesting options of note stacking up for the end of June, with the call side sitting around $300,000 per BTC by the end of June, approaching around $500 million in notional value. Note that this is via the Durbit exchange. This is their second most popular call option. So a lot of people trying to go long for a 300k BTC just by the end of next month. Seems
Yeah, that seems a bit. Yeah, I one thing I'm always hesitant in terms of traditional markets when you see stuff like that, you have no idea what it's against or anything
no.
like that. So you got to, as we said before, that that's only giving you one side of the story. But what did you say the notional value on that was?
500 million.
That's a lot of notional. So
Yes.
yeah, that's a very interesting one. Yeah, that is very interesting. Yeah, off that, no idea.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you automatically go, oh, hedge. So how short are they? But you know.
Yeah, no, exactly that.
So looking across to ETH, unlike Bitcoin, Ethereum did not experience the same impressive retest of late February's price levels. In fact, Ethereum still sits around 30% down over the same time span. What was clear is that the market participants traded within tight-ish range alongside its alternative competitors. I say tight-ish, obviously, because there's added volatility as you go away from the top dog of BTC and trading down with the altcoins. Ethereum does experience very high levels of volatility. However, last week was quite a tight range of around 8%. So moving, Ethereum now trades at around $1,765, down 5% from the highs of last week. Moving down the market cap list as well in no particular order because these are not in order by any sense. Solana trading at $142. XRP is trading at $2.08. BNB is trading at $593, with gold exposure via PaxG and Tether's gold-backed coin, XAUT, coming in to see some of the highest performers over the last 24 hours, sitting at 1.8% in gains. So gold is actually doing most of the heavy lifting in the crypto space today. So we'll move on to news that, again, spanning over the long weekend from Friday to today. According to Reuters via PIQ
Sorry,
Suite,
sorry, 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 sorry. Whoa, Reuters, you mean?
Reuters, you go on.
Yes, we got him. We got him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Right, according to
Sorry, that was
Reuters
a
via
PIQ.
PIQ.
That was a plug for PIQ. I don't know why I slagged you off. I've mugged
I
myself.
know, you completely ruined it. You could have
Sorry.
said something nice about the
Go,
platform. You
go
could have
again.
gave away a promo code so that people could get on and experience the full dashboard. But no,
Sorry.
you had to call me out for my lovely
Sorry.
ability to pronounce names.
Sorry.
Never mind. We'll move on, and I'm sure there'll be more opportunities to make fun of my pronunciation. Singapore Gulf Bank has named former US Federal Reserve Chair Randall. Oh God, I should probably just stop at Randall as Vice Chairman of. Right, I probably should have prepped all this, which I did, believe it or not. Never mind. We'll just say Randall as Vice Chairman of its newly formed Global Advisory Board to support its international expansion. We kind of touched on this news from Singapore Gulf Bank last week. Moving on to another story, Ripple announced a total donation of $25 million to education nonprofits, Donors Choice and Tech for America, with the majority of the funds distributed via its stablecoin, Ripple USD. I was going to make insert joke here and say, does that mean that they're going to just send the stablecoin back or ask, actually, could we just have dollars,
Yeah,
please?
right.
So this marks the first time both organizations are accepting donations in stablecoins, and the funds will support classroom projects, nationwide tutoring programs, and STEM innovation changes, as well as promote financial literacy in education, as it's in the form of stablecoins. According to crypto journalist Eleanor Terrett, acting CFTC chair Caroline D. Pham stated at the Network Medic conference that the CFTC plans to participate as an observer in several industry tokenization pilot programs. The goal is to gain first-hand insight into how tokenized assets operate in real-world scenarios and to build regulatory and technical expertise onto the CFTC. So that's quite good. You're basically going in with a live study and looking to build a regulatory framework around
Nice.
its actual use case and operations. Coinbase has added PAX Gold, which is the ticker PAXG, to its listing roadmap for this coming quarter. Moving on to one of the Bitcoin miners, in their quarterly report, Riot Platform sold around 475 BTC in April 2025, marking its first major Bitcoin sale since January 2024, and signaling a departure from its long-standing 100% hodl strategy. The sale included around 463 BTC mined during the month, and the month of April, an additional 12 BTC from their reserves, generating approximately $38.8 million in proceeds.
What's the vibe on that then? Is that just to boost up the balance sheet, or are they looking for some just take some profit, or is this a maybe a kind of a view into what their future kind of scope is for Bitcoin? Like any vibe on that, or is it just
We actually
up?
we actually covered this about 3 weeks ago in the Crypto Blast, saying because I expected that start to see these Bitcoin miners as now it's a year on from the Bitcoin halving. I think April around 13th or something, also marked a year on since the Bitcoin halving. Would now start to see some of these miners who's adopted the HODL strategy, which essentially started from Marathon Digital. Where they hold their BTC, basically securing their reserves and basically showing that they've got the strength to not have to sell their stash of BTCs. However, you're a year on taking a 50% haircut now. Your aim is to produce and increase the amount of BTCs that you're mining, which they have managed to do in their report. I don't have the exact numbers to hand, but we can definitely go through it potentially tomorrow and bring out some of the increases. I believe at the Thursday as well, we've got Marathon's earnings report. So maybe for Friday's Crypto Spaces, maybe we could compare Riot and Marathon a little bit and get some more info. But yeah, it will be basically a sign of them needing to sell some of their BTCs in order to make some profits.
You've always got to realize profit. It's not a profit until it's in the bank.
Exactly that. And Marathon obviously having the largest stack of BTC in the mining field, puts their market cap a lot higher because they retain their value a lot stronger. So there were some really, really interesting points which I'll bring out in Friday's crypto blast for Riot and their increases quarter on quarter. So yeah, stay tuned, and if you're interested in the Bitcoin miners, maybe set an alert for Friday's crypto blast coming in at 1 o'clock UK time.
Love it.
So, according to CNBC, Donald Trump has 2 crypto-focused dinners scheduled this month. The first is the Crypto and AI Innovators Dinner on May 5th. Hosted. Oh, that was the other day, I guess. Didn't look at that date. So they had it for the first Crypto and AI Innovators Dinner back a couple of days ago on May 5th, hosted by MAGA Incorporated. They featured guests such as David Sachs and a plate cost a mere $1.5 million. What were they eating?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Swan. Yeah. Have they had that the Trump coin dinner yet?
No, so that is the second crypto dinner of this month, and that is scheduled to be on the 22nd of May. The Trump National Wear near I can't even speak this morning, but we already know that if you've been listening since the beginning of the Spaces. So the Trump National near Washington DC is open to the top 220 holders of the Trump meme token, and it's determined through a blockchain-based contest. So, yeah, they've not had that just yet, but it'll be interesting to see who turns up for that. I don't know whether you just point at them or wonder what criminal acts they've committed to where we're going to move on quite quickly. Tether CEO Paolo Adrini, I should just stop with names, shouldn't I? Has announced the upcoming launch of a new project, Tether AI. Its core product, Personal Indefinite Intelligence, is a fully open sourced AI runtime designed to run on any hardware or device, requiring no API keys and having no central point of failure. It is fully modular and composable. Notably, the AI runtime will integrate WDK, presumably Tether's developed kit to support payments using USDT and Bitcoin. I'll be interested with some of our AI friends to see what they can make of this.
Yeah, do you know what? That's a good question. I was going to actually ask our CTO that, because obviously AI is his bag as well. But I did give this a skim yesterday when I saw it. Kind of my take was almost kind of a decentralized AI that's local to you. So wherever you're taking basically your AI to whatever program or services you're using. So I can't remember, there was a crypto product a little while ago where it's kind of, you take back your data and all that, and it's all, held by yourself, and you choose who to give it to and stuff like that. This was kind of the vibe I got from just reading like the first page, the exec summary of Tether's new AI kind of service. It seems, on face value, it seems decent. If the AI, model is strong enough, it means, you're taking that and, it knows you, it knows kind of what your focus is on. So at the moment, people are using 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, a dozen different agents and different AI software tools. If you could harmonize that onto one, and that follows you around wherever you're using it, on paper, that's a great idea. But again, it's Tether, so there's obviously questions of the audits and stuff like that. But on paper, on face value, I think this is probably where, in my opinion, at the moment, again, this changes like the weather, but in my opinion, having something like that, which is your own personal AI that you're taking with you and using on any platform and services you're using, that makes sense to me. Because the amount of times I'm having to kind of repeat myself to AI because I'm using it for different functions, but I need it to know about PIQ or my work or whatever. I like the idea. I think it would encourage more people to be using it, and connect the dots on what is kind of quite a fragmented experience at the moment from a user's point of view.
Yeah, no, I like those points.
He says with currently 4 different AI things up in front of me on my 4 screens. So basically, I need it. I don't care about any of you.
Yeah, please. He's like, please, I need this.
I just need to, it's the same with like all the subscriptions I got. I got Netflix, I got Disney Plus, I'm like, just give them to me all on one, please. I want one that follows me around.
That's what we there you go. See a need, fill a need, and then just create it yourself.
Yeah,
But
exactly. And look at how I kept it clean as well. I didn't mention anything about smut.
oh, you didn't. You didn't. There's still
Yeah.
time. There's still time. I'm. I would
No.
expect. I would expect ICP, which is the Internet Computer Protocol, to come out with a really fierce competitor to Tether's AI model here, in the near future. And if you're talking about decentralization, it would be the true form of
There you go.
decentralization and AI incorporated into one product. So hopefully there will be some added AI competitors in the space.
Always much, much needed.
100%. So moving on to Kazakhstan plans to launch a gold-backed stablecoin pegged to the US dollar, the gold dollar in quotations, the USDKG. In the third quarter of this year, the stablecoin will be backed by around $500 million worth of gold provided by the Kazakhstan Ministry of Finance, with plans to expand the reserve to up to $2 billion. And lastly, Florida's HB and the SB, so that Bitcoin Reserve, aimed at allowing the state to invest in up to 10% of certain public funds into Bitcoin, were indefinitely withdrawn on the 6th of May. So it doesn't look like there will be any Bitcoin Reserve coming in for the state of Florida. Yeah, which seems to be the pattern at the moment.
I'm guessing that's a very bad sign for the rest of the states, because tell me if I'm wrong, and I probably am, but wasn't Florida meant to be like, if any state was a shoe-in, it was going to be Florida for this?
Yeah, that was highly expected to pass.
Is the mayor is
There's
Yeah, again, I'm completely out the loop on this, but the mayor of Miami, I'm not sure if it was the same one. Wasn't he like really pro Bitcoin? And they were like, you could, if you were an employee of the Miami, you know, mayor's office, you could basically take Bitcoin as salary and stuff like that. Or I'm sure I saw headlines like that the last bull market we were in.
Yeah, I think you're right. That they've been very, very open to the Bitcoin and crypto community as a whole. They've opened their city up for hosting some of the largest events in the space. Yeah, and allowing them to operate with all the licenses that they needed to quite easily. So that I wouldn't be surprised. I think that's about it. I did post something yesterday or this early this morning. I've been up since 4 o'clock, so it's difficult to tell which day it is exactly. And I can't. Oh, I almost clicked on it. I can't click on it because it's on the institutional file account, and I'm on my phone. So if I do click on it, it
Oh
will
yeah, exactly.
disappear. But it was around BlackRock's iShares
Oh, I saw that.
Bitcoin Trust over last week. They added 3.9 billion over $3.9 billion to their reserves on IBIT. It's required when obviously there's demand and it exceeds their reserve. So there was such a high demand for BlackRock's IBIT, which is their
Yeah.
Bitcoin
And
spot
as a
ETF
reminder
product last week.
to people, this is all to do with the clients of BlackRock buying into these things.
Yes.
This isn't BlackRock themselves hoovering stuff up. We need to keep making that distinction, because there's so many people that think BlackRock own the world or Vanguard own the world. It's not quite as tinfoil hat natured as that. It is the money that they control for the clients that they service, or etc. etc. But awesome. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so I guess obviously I apologize for the start on this show, so I will put all this back together. Oh, Adam's just put something up on BTC. Thank you very much, Adam. Obviously listeners can't see what I'm doing there, especially those that are playing this back in like an hour's time. But anyway, I appreciate it, Adam. Thank you very much. On that, I know it's slightly off topic, but Adam's coming to London soon as well, Cam, so we'll have to go and take him for a beer. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, Cam. Thank you for giving us all the insights. And yeah, whatever you're doing today, if you're trading, keep it tight. Catch you all tomorrow. Stay safe.
Have a good one.